Welcome on board the beautiful brand new Star Princess as we do a complete tour and a review of this beautiful ship on its inaugural Western Caribbean cruise in November of 2025. My name's Andrew and welcome back to Tidal Horizons. We are one of the top channels on YouTube for Princess Cruises. We cover Princess top to bottom here. So this is going to be a bit of a different video. This is freeform, no scripts, no nothing. I'm going to walk you through the ship as I see it, starting right here in the Piazza. It's a gorgeous space, all decorated up for the Christmas season. That all happened while we were on board. So this video, as I say, is going to be freeform. We're going to do a little bit of a review. We're going to cover it from the top to the bottom, or sorry, from the bottom to the top in this case, and really give you a sense of what the ship's like. We're going to cover every space. I've got the handy maps at the bottom so you know where we're looking, as well as we're really going to dive into some of the changes that were made from Sun Princess, it's Star's sister ship, and really kind of get a sense of what this ship's all about. Now, you're going to say to me, there's nobody on this ship. Well, there were 3,800 people on there with us. Wasn't quite full capacity. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. I think I started filming just before 6 a.m. So this is what a ship looks like when everybody's in bed for the night still. I'm going to start down on deck number 4. And deck 4 doesn't have a lot going for it, but it is a passenger space on this ship and on Sun because it has the medical center, which really we couldn't get a really good view inside of, as well as it has the landing, which we'll have a look at in a second. So it is a nice space. You can walk all the way through it. It's not quite like the other ships where it's a little bit more industrial. I really didn't get a chance to explore down here too much, and they've changed it a little bit, and I'm going to show you what I mean. On board Sun last year in the Mediterranean, they used the landing, which we're heading into right now, as more of like to get towels, and they had water available for you to take on shore. They didn't really do that on board Star this time, which was a little bit odd. The space was used a little bit more like a lounge on Sun Princess when we were on board. This time it was just, get your stuff, get off. We had to get pool towels and from the pool deck and bring them on shore for the beaches and such. And on Sun, this area here, the bar area with some fridges in behind, would have been used for, cold water and such like that. Now, the space to get on and off Star and Sun Princess is unique because they've got this really interesting gangway that they can adjust from deck 4 and 5. So they really have control over their own space. They don't have to rely as much on these shoreside gangways. So that's the landing. It's a nice space. Hopefully they, bring the pool towels back down there, and it just makes it a little bit more convenient. Same with collecting them. There was no collection points for the beach towels when we came back on shore from our excursions. So we'll walk through the elevator lobby here on deck number 4. Now, deck 5, there is passenger space on it, but we'll show you that in a second. We're going to head up to deck 6, have a quick look at the Lotus Spa. Now, of course, this time of morning it's closed, so I took some footage early in the trip. Mostly of the thermal suite, these lovely beds, awesome to lie on. Find the thermal suite a little bit pricey, but if you're on the longer voyage, a lot of sea days, it really can be worthwhile. Hydrotherapy pool is really nice. This is probably my favorite room. This is a Himalayan salt room, and you just kind of sit there and get a sense of relaxation. I'm not one of those people that's all into that, the naturopathy and stuff like that, but I really did enjoy that. Showers with different scents and different temperatures and rainfall and such. Now that's deck 5 down there. And what deck 5 is where all the treatment rooms are for the spa. So you head down that spiral staircase and get your treatments. I think there's an accessible route down there as well. They may just take you down the elevator and in the doors at the bottom. And then the spa reception space. So we'll head out of the Lotus Spa now. Still on deck 6. And we're going to head down the hallway towards the guest services and the kids club. I do like the design of the ship. I like the beiges that they have. It is modern. I was a little afraid it was all washed out when they first released these ships, but it has grown on me. Firefly Park is for the little kids. This is 0 to 6, I believe, although they may be changing the ages slightly. I saw some changes to the signage and such as with cruise went on. So this is for little kids. 0 to 3, parent has to be with them. 3 and up, they can sign in for programs. All-day port programs usually. Otherwise, it's usually 9 to noon, and then 2 to 5, and then 7 to 10 p.m. There are some extended hours you can sometimes arrange for the older kids in the upstairs program as well. Now, guest services on these ships, on Star and Sun, are on deck 6, which is kind of unique, tucked away. Nice spot. I mean, it kind of, you can hear who you're talking to. You don't have to yell over the crowd in the piazza and such. The only problem is that it can get kind of busy. They don't really want you lining up inside guest services, so instead they set up the kind of lines in the hallway here in the elevator. Now, my room was actually on deck 6, and it's a balcony room, which is really unusual, and it's called a Cove balcony. So here's our room, obviously before we moved in, and it's a standard deluxe balcony room, convertible couch by the door that's converted to a twin bed. Currently it's set up as 2 twins, but they can be pushed together to make a queen. It's not the most spacious room in the world. I think it's a little bit smaller than I would like, but we kind of booked last minute and kind of took what was available to us. However, great deal. This is one of the most inexpensive balcony rooms on these ships, and I would book it again in a heartbeat. Absolutely in a heartbeat. Having a look at the washroom and the shower, it's spacious. I'm a big guy. I had no problem in here at all. Plenty of room around the sink. Nice sink, lots of counter space, shelves underneath. Shower has the glass door, which is fantastic. Water controls where they should be. You don't have to step in the shower to turn it on. You can just reach there. As I say, I had no problem in that glass shower at all. It was fantastic. The balcony, again, the Cove balcony. So if you've ever been on the Queen Mary 2, this would be equivalent to a sheltered balcony on board the Queen Mary 2. USB plugs everywhere. So there's USB-C, USB-A there, power, reading lamp. Same at the desk. There's multiple sockets, lots of power, lots of USB for charging your devices. You can see we're kind of inside the superstructure of the ship. So you don't get as much sunlight as you would in normal circumstances on a regular glass front balcony. However, it's really nice being down by the water. So we're only on deck 6, so we're maybe 30 feet up above the water. You can see everything. You kind of get a good sense of connection with the water down here. And as I say, it's one of the cheapest balconies on board that ship, and I would take it again in a heartbeat without any questions asked. It's very convenient getting from there up to, you can see where we are, just above the doors. This picture is actually the opposite side of the ship, but you get the idea. So head up to deck 7. This is the underground. This is the teen club. And again, this time of morning, they're all asleep, but we got some pictures earlier in the cruise. Sorry for the flashing lights. That's actually their LED kind of dance party stuff going on. It kind of comes through kind of nasty on video. It's a nice, spacious spot. We had a 13-year-old with us. He went there once. There was nobody around. Never went back. It just wasn't a holiday cruise, so there just wasn't enough people on board for him. But with his older brother, they managed to find plenty to do on this ship. Absolutely tons to do on this ship. I often get asked that question, is a teenager going to enjoy Princess? Isn't it for old people? No, my kids love it. From the youngest one, who's now 9, up to my oldest, who's in his 20s. No problem. This is the Princess Arena. So we're right at the front of the ship now, and this is an interesting space. Some people love it, some people hate it. I've seen a few shows here now between the shows we saw on this voyage and on the Sun, and it's grown on me. I think it's a diverse space that they can use. There's a lot of different ways they can use the space. I haven't seen them use it as a more of traditional proscenium style theater, which they say they can do. I've only ever seen it in this configuration with kind of the thrust stage with the turntable and the elevator. But there was a fantastic circus themed show called Illuminate. Kids absolutely loved it. It wasn't, it had some traditional clowning in it. It had some acrobatics. The singing was good. The audio for the singers wasn't wonderful. I don't think it did them justice. I think they're still kind of getting that adjusted. But that's the kind of theater geek in me saying that. We really enjoyed the show. So heading now out of the theater, we're going to head down the ramp again, and we're going to head towards the kids club. And as I said, my kids, they love the trivia, they love the freedom they get on the ship. They love everything, the sports courts, which we'll see later. They find stuff to do. They're never bored. They're not on their devices all the time. It's really works well for them because they're interested in what they traveling more than they are playing games and stuff. So this is Neon Grove. This is for the tweens, I guess they would call it. My 9-year-old was in here, absolutely loved it. The kids here, those are mine. They have these video games with traditional board games built into them. Lots of space. They took pride on this ship in particular in telling us that they had planned activities. They weren't going to sit them in front of movies the whole time. And that was a big thing for us because I have criticized Princess in the past for that. On some ships, they plunk them in front of the movies and video games and they don't do anything with them. And it's more like babysitting than it is activities. And this ship, the report I got back from our 9-year-old was, no, we had something to do all the time. There was always activities going on. So I was impressed with the kids club on this ship. So good on them. Here we go. Good Spirits at Sea. If you've seen my vlog videos, we spent a good deal of time in here. Demonstrations of making fantastic cocktails. We really, really enjoyed this. They were funny. They were informative. Just a blast. What we did end up having is Mr. Rob Floyd, who is the mixologist for Princess, and he's on shows like Bar Rescue and things like that. He actually joined us one day, and if you look at the daily vlog series that we did on this voyage, he's in that a little bit as well. But they have excellent cocktails. Most of them will fall under the Princess Plus program, so you don't have to worry about spending more. It's very entertaining. So, heading down deck 7. Now, this is what I said about our room. Our room is just down that staircase we passed, so we could come up those stairs right to the theater. Never heard a sound from the theater. Kids Club's there. Princess Live is here, and we're heading towards the Piazza and a few other things. So, the location of that stateroom was outstanding. I would stay there again in a second. Princess Live. I feel like they've done a good job with this, and I'm trying to put my finger on what may have changed between this and the Sun Princess, because I felt like the Sun Princess one, it was a little bit more open. I have to go back and review some of the video on that. But Princess Live, we were there for trivia, mostly. The Globetrotter trivia, we ended up winning that. And then we also dropped in on bingo, but didn't play this time. It's just way too much money going into the pocket of the casino and not really enough money going into the pocket of the people that are playing, as far as I'm concerned. Now I head across the hall to the Butcher's Block by Dario. This is a new home for this location on the ship compared to when Sun Princess launched. They did a whole flip around of this venue. From it used to be upstairs on deck 9 and all that. So this is much better. It's purpose built. I didn't really enjoy the meal necessarily that I had on Sun Princess. We didn't try it this time, but I think I will give another shot next time I'm on board the Star Princess or the Sun Princess. The venue is great. It was originally conceived on Sun as the Crown Grill in that space. Now, We're going to head next door and have a look at O'Malley's Pub. Now, this is one of my favorite venues of all time. Just who doesn't like an Irish pub? Now, here's the unique thing here. If you look on the map, they've still online show where the ice cream parlor was. And they've built this brand new wall that the red line is indicating here across where the ice cream parlor was. And that is the expansion to O'Malley's. And that has been a game changer in there because really it was crowded, very, very crowded before. There just wasn't enough space. There wasn't enough seating. And that kind of back area just didn't work. Now, outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. It's just a little bit more space, a little bit bigger, a few more people. What can I say? Irish music, we had a blast. I'd like to thank my young cameraman Jack, my son there, for doing this video. He had shot this little piece. He did an outstanding job for me. Dad may have been having a pint at the time. Anyway, that's O'Malley's. Top-notch venue. It's nice that it's enclosed. You don't get the sound that you get from, on some of the other ships. I think it was Sky, maybe Enchanted, I don't recall offhand, that's open to the Piazza area. This is closed. You can hear the music. There's no competition between that venue and what's happening in the Piazza. This venue needs to be a standard on every ship that Princess has. Somewhere, build it in. Absolutely 100% build that one in to future ships. It would be great if they could fix O'Malley's on some of those other ships too and kind of enclose it and give it that same kind of personality. Now, we're going to go outside for a minute. And sorry, there's a little bit of wind noise on this one. This is the one criticism I have of all new ships. As far as like a promenade deck, I know they called the promenade upstairs on deck 9, but this is it. And I really, really miss having a ship that has a proper promenade deck at this level that goes all the way around the ship, or at least most of the way around the ship, that you can cut in, maybe cut across inside or whatever. It's a design flaw that I wish they would fix. So many people I've talked to, traditional cruisers, and I do count Princess as a pretty traditional brand, miss having the promenade deck. And Princess, if you're listening and you're going to do another class of ship, bring back the promenade deck, please. People like being outside. They like having that connection with the ocean. Bellini's a cocktail bar. It's a bar. It's good. It can get very, very loud here. So you don't really kind of get that connection with the bartenders, or like the friendly connection that you get with some of these guys. It's which is a shame, but that's because of the noise from the Piazza. Maybe at certain times it would be better. Catch by Rudi. Everybody I've talked to really enjoys this restaurant. Again, this is when they did the flip flop on the Sun Princess. They put this into and created the signature suites. They brought this restaurant in, so everybody I've talked to loves this restaurant. I have not had a chance to try it because most of my family doesn't eat seafood. So I need to go on a cruise with people that enjoy seafood as much as I do. And I'll be checking that one out. I will say the Piazza, just gorgeous. I love the design of this Piazza compared to the other ships. I like what they've done. There's no staircases in the way. So you get that 365-degree view of what's going on in the Piazza, and I'll show you later on some of the tiered seating that they put upstairs just to kind of expand on that. Coffee Currents is like a little mini international cafe. They have just enough snacks and bites and stuff like that you can grab something quick. Coffee's great. Service is great. It's usually much quieter down here than it is up at the International Cafe, just based on location. You can tell it's early because I beat the coffee people to the coffee place. So again, there's a door on the side, little tiny promenade deck out there that you can go out and hang out. Gorgeous sunset sunrise that morning. And a good amount of seating. never a problem finding a seat in this area during the day. At nighttime, yeah, it's going to be busy with table service and people finding a place to sit and wait for dinner or enjoy the music. So as this cruise went on, when we got on board, no sign of the holidays. As we kept going, this giant throne appeared. I imagine Santa will make a visit during the Christmas season. They really upped the decorations and such. It was really nice to see. It was kind of neat. Just there's something new. There's a tree. There's some garland or whatever. Now, the Shops of Princess is one area that has changed quite a bit on Star Princess over Sun. And the reason for that, this is the Princess logo shop. So anything you want with the Princess logo on is in here. The only thing I couldn't find is the little metal ship model that I collect. They didn't have that there. They only the big ceramic one, which is odd because they already have one of Sun, so it's an identical ship. I don't know why they didn't have it. Anyway, because of the non-smoking casino that they installed upstairs, they lost some shopping area. So what they've done is put all these kiosks in the hallway. So this hallway can get very, very busy with people kind of dancing around the kiosks and salespeople and people trying to sell you stuff. You've got your, little fashion shop. This is the same on Sun as well. But these kiosks are now in this hallway because they don't have space for like this luxe legacy. I guess it's used luxury bags and purses and stuff like that. Same with the duty-free alcohol just down here. I'm not sure that it was like I like the fact that there's a non-smoking casino. I think that's kind of neat. We'll see it later. But it did create a bit of a traffic jam here during, kind of those turnover periods between the dinner seatings and people heading towards the Crown Grill just down the hallway. But the almighty bucks, so they got to sell stuff. That's how she rolls. I'm not a shopper, so I didn't really take any other footage inside these shops. It's not really my thing. So head up the ramp here, and we're heading towards the Crown Grill and the Wheelhouse Bar. And the Wheelhouse Bar, on some ships, this is a really nice intimate space called the Wheelhouse. To enjoy, kick back. Sometimes some ships have trivia there. This one, it's more like, I would say, like the Crown Grill Bar. It really becomes more of a waiting area for the Crown Grill, which is across the hallway. It's not, there's a lot of traffic that flows through here. It's not somewhere where I would particularly go as a place to hang out or, kind of a comfy area just to sit and relax because it's busy. It's always busy here, and there's always a lineup to the podium to get into Crown Grill. But I feel like it's a little bit nicer than maybe what was on Sun initially. Maybe they've expanded a little bit. I have to go back and look at some of the video. So Crown Grill moved up into this space on Sun as well when they did the flip-flop last fall. This was the reserve restaurant initially when Sun Princess launched. It's a nice space. It doesn't give me steakhouse vibes necessarily. When I think of Crown Grill and some of the other ships, you have those nice cityscapes, and you kind of get that real, maybe New York or Chicago steakhouse feel. This is a little bit more modern decor, but the food is quite good, and I think ultimately that's really what's important. On this ship, they do have the Princess Fine Arts, the art gallery, the art auctions, things like that. It's not even on the map right now. Again, Sun Princess did not have an art gallery when we were on her last year. I don't know if that's changed since. But really, I don't mind the art gallery. I don't mind the art auctions. I have bought stuff from them before, only because I really liked it. No pressure, anything like that. So we're going to head down to deck 6. So now deck 6 is the Aurora dining room. And the Aurora dining room is where we ate all of our meals. It's a nice space. It's the largest of the dining rooms. We really enjoyed it down here. You can only get to it from deck 7, so if you're trying to get to it, yeah. The windows at the back are fantastic. Now, this footage was shot at lunchtime. And with those windows, I don't know why they don't serve lunch back here. At night, it was fantastic, but you couldn't see anything. This here is our table at night. We had it 7 days. And it's nice at the back, and the water's lit up. There's underwater lighting off the back of the ship, but nothing like this. They really should use that space. Heading back up to deck 7, and we're going to go into the Celestial dining room. So this is the second level of the dining room. It's kind of a 3-level dining room if you include the signature. This is a little bit smaller, obviously, because it's kind of a balcony look down overlooking the Aurora dining room. This is frequently used for the art auctions during the day. So if you're looking for breakfast, lunch, dinner downstairs in Aurora, they always have it down there. I do find their times on Princess are a little bit limited. Like, lunch is 11 to 1. And really by 12:45, they really don't want you to go in that late. So I do find, if you want to sit down lunch, it's fantastic. Some great food. But be there, well before 1 o'clock if that's when you eat. This is set up for the art auction, obviously, with these tripods. We didn't get a chance to eat up in this space, but, it's a dining room. You can see some more Christmas decorations are starting to pop up. And then you have the artwork and the extension down into deck 6. I really do like the back of the ship and this whole dining concept. I was really thankful for that table at the back as well. A good friend of ours on board Star Princess that we've known for a number of years, a crew member, helped us secure that table. So thank you. You know who you are. And that brings us kind of the end of deck number 7. And we'll head now up to deck number 8. Up here on deck number 8, we're going to have a look at the Sanctuary Restaurant. Again, this is a location that you normally wouldn't have access to, but at this time in the morning, nobody's around. So this space was created when they switched from having the signature restaurants and invented the Sanctuary, which Sanctuary guests include suites and mini suites, certain mini suites, and some deluxe premium balcony suites as well, or rooms as well. We'll have a little bit of a rundown on that as we get into the video a little bit further and have a look at the club upstairs and also the Sanctuary club space. So walking through deck number 8, we're going to have a quick look at the casino. We'll have a look at some of the shops and some of the changes that were made there. Really like the way they've done the elevators on these ships. If you haven't seen them, you pick the floor that you want to go to. Before you get on board the elevator, it tells you which elevator to go to. Really kind of fantastic solution. You don't have those milk runs anymore, so definitely an improvement, I think. All right, so a staple on most of the Princess ships now. I'm not even sure there's one that doesn't have a Sabatini's. Sabatini's Italian Bistro. Fantastic Italian food. We didn't go to Sabatini's on this trip, but certainly we've been there many, many, many times. It is getting difficult to get reservations at Sabatini's, I find, because of the premium or premier dining or premier packages. Unlimited specialty dining certainly has cut into the available number of reservations. Circular space, When we were on the Sun Princess, we did find it rather loud in here. Like, they had every table booked. I know, in the old days, they really didn't book every single table all the time. They didn't have a frequent turnover. It was a little quieter, a little more intimate. Now it's every table in use, as many waiters as they could possibly have. So, be prepared for that. It's not the quiet dining experience it was. The watch boutique, I avoided this place at all costs because I'm so tempted to buy myself a new watch every time I sail. I love these watches. Breitling, Tag, there's some pre-owned Rolexes. I'm not sure that they sell a whole lot on board, but certainly the space is there. So it's a nice layout. Really, if you're in the market for a watch, this is definitely a place to come see most of the models. So this space is generally unchanged from Sun Princess. Very similar layout. Sabatini's, you had the watch boutiques outside. Not much has changed. Now, as we head down the hall, the Shops of Princess, well, that's almost it. The only thing that we're going to see when we come down the hall now, rather than the multiple shops that are on Sun Princess, is we're going to have the Effy Jewellery. Yes, they've advertised Shops of Princess all over the place. So Effy Jewellery has kind of become their official jeweler. Some ships may have a Diamonds International, they may have a no-name one, but this is kind of where it's heading, is with the Effy stuff. Frequent draws and champagne and anything to get you in there to try to sell you some jewelry. I'm no expert, but I'm not sure it's a great value. It's not really my thing. Here we go to the non-smoking casino. So, say what you will about casinos, they are growing. I know people love them. I don't really get it myself. I would go in, donate $20, and that's me done. Now that they have this non-smoking space, mostly for slot machines, it is a little bit nicer to walk through and not have that stench of smoke. And I don't really understand why they still allow smoking in the casino at all. I mean, that was a 90s thing to get rid of smoking in public places. But I guess, people want to smoke, people want to gamble. And as long as they're depositing the money, they can, Princess is happy to have them do it. So I don't believe there were any table games in that space. I kind of walked through a little bit faster than I should have, but I don't recall seeing any as I was in there. We'll go through the main casino later. Umai Teppenyaki. This is obviously closed when we came through, but we had been on here before, so we'll have a quick look. It's a show. The food is good. If you can get a reservation, they do, I think, three settings a night. Really enjoyed it. The food was quite good, and it's definitely got entertainment value. So now heading towards the Piazza once more. If you ever want to get your steps in on a cruise ship, doing a deck-by-deck tour for a video, definitely the way to do it. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is the new Shore Excursions desk location. We booked everything through the app. We didn't really have a reason to go here. So they have their hours posted up, and you can come here, get some thoughts on, what excursions you might want to do, what's worth it. Say what you will about excursions. You book with Princess, at least you're going to get back to the ship, generally speaking. There's lots of good private ones as well. Just, be careful of what you're booking and make sure that there's a return to ship guarantee and the company's got your back in terms of getting you to the ship on time, no matter what you do. This is Crooners. Now, Crooners, I enjoyed. Kind of went here midday, I think, when I checked it out, so I didn't have to compete with the noise from the Piazza again. This is the problem with the open Piazza. This is supposed to be a piano bar. It's kind of got that speakeasy look, you know, 20s vibe. You can have a look at it here, Art Deco. They made some fantastic cocktails. Again, Rob Floyd is the mixologist. This one was particularly good. It was like just a lemon flavor. It was really nice. Margaritas, had a really good time in here. The only issue really is when the Piazza gets really going with some musician down there, this space is quite loud. The whole kind of Crooners piano bar thing, like, just you look at where that piano is compared to where the bar is, and you know that it's kind of been pushed aside, and you don't really kind of get the same piano vibe that you do on some of the other ships, in terms of being a piano bar. So yeah, it was good when I was there, but when it could be very loud. This is Spellbound. Now, Spellbound has changed from being a dinner experience to being a drink and show experience. You have to be 13 years of age or older to go in here. Fantastic cocktails. I think it was $45. Get you 2 cocktails and the magic show, and they have seatings every half an hour or so. So after your cocktails and you've experienced like the different area inside, you go inside for the magic show. Didn't film any of that because really, we don't want to ruin that surprise. So Spellbound, definitely worth checking out. Much better as a experience doing that than the dinner. The dinner really on Sun Princess really didn't add anything to the experience because it was held upstairs in a different space. Didn't make a lot of sense the way it was done. So that was a happy change for me compared to the review I did of Spellbound when it was on Sun. Makoto Ocean, Japanese, mostly sushi. I didn't have the chance to give it a try, but I did find this little tiny duck hiding out in the O. So he was a little tiny one. Left him there. I hope somebody found him later on in the cruise. Sushi, I've had it before on here. It's very good. They do a good job. Again, this is a nice venue to kind of sit down, relax, as long as the Piazza is not being too loud. Like if they've got the music jumping or there's an activity going on, you're not going to hear each other think in this space, unfortunately. Those big, beautiful windows, Alaska is what I'm thinking when I see that space. Sit down there, have some sushi, maybe your quiet time as you're cruising in Alaska with that scenery going by, that big, beautiful sphere on the side of the ship. Like Star Princess really, I think, was built for going to Alaska and experiencing that, because it is a very open ship. You can see all the way through the middle of it, just windows everywhere. Princess Casino. So I have a good long walk through here. I don't have a lot to say because, again, I'm not a casino guy. I know many people are looking at it. You can stop. I tried to get some pictures of the limits and things like that. But it's kind of tough with the LED screens. Sometimes they don't really show up as well on camera as they could. So we enter, got your roulette tables, lots of slot machines. There wasn't an overpowering odor of the smoke. Remember now, there's no non-smoking area in this area of the casino as far as I know. Non-smoking is exclusively in that other section that we looked at earlier on this deck. So this is the Princess Casino again. It was definitely hopping. A lot of games. I know my wife and one son that was old enough to play enjoyed themselves on the Huff and Puff game, which I think I have a shot of here in a minute. They genuinely enjoyed themselves and actually walked out with a little bit more than they spent. Me, I went in, put my $20 in, and that was about it. So not much I can do about that. I just don't have luck when it comes to gambling, and I don't have the patience or the mindset to keep trying. Yeah, this is the game that they really enjoyed. So lots of options. I can't really honestly say if this space is any bigger than Sun Princess was. Maybe they've changed it up a bit. Look at the prices for bingo: $129. $89. This is why I say, like, if you have so many people playing those $89, $129 tablets, and at the end of the week, the jackpot for covering all was $1,600. They must have we had 3 C days, so you got to think that the thousands and thousands of dollars were spent buying those things, and $1,600 jackpot just seems kind of pathetic to me. So I just don't quite get it. Nice high ceilings here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Vegas casino. And yeah, so that's the majority of Deck 8. Now, we are going to have a quick look at the Princess Arena again, just to pop in and kind of pop out. So this is the upper level entrance to the arena. And if you have mobility difficulties, I think this is probably the better way for you to go in. Mobility seating in the lower area, there's only really, I want to say, about 6 seats on each side that are accessible to you. This way there may be quite a bit more, so just maybe something to keep in mind if you're a scooter or walker or just don't like stairs, generally speaking. This may have a few more options for you. They had a corporate event going on in here. Expedia Cruises was on the cruise doing a conference, so I ran into lots of people I know as I work with Expedia. And yeah, so nice space. I recommend trying to get in the lower bowl. We sat kind of off to the side at the top once. It was okay. Best seats are probably down low. The show really works well down there. And of course, a little bit of sculpture. There's not a lot of art installations on this ship. I know some of the ships that I've been on recently has a lot more art and kind of interesting things like that. The ship, not so much. So as I say, I do work with Expedia, book cruises for people. If you're interested in booking a cruise through me, I'm happy to have you contact me. Information's in the description of this video. Or if you just enjoy the content, that's fine too. Happy to make it for you. Deck 9. Now this is a bit of a weird one. So this is where all the buffet is. But if you come up from the Princess, the casino, or the arena, you're into staterooms. So I don't recommend Deck 9 staterooms for that reason. This hallway is busy, and I have personal experience with that because we stayed on this deck on the Sun Princess. The Cabana deck is a private area for Cabana mini suites, which we'll have a quick look at. The Cabana mini suites, of course, being on the right-hand side, they don't really have a true balcony. They have kind of a door that opens up onto this private deck space, which has a hot tub at one end. It's a nice space. We enjoyed it when we were on Sun Princess. This is actually Sun Princess that we're looking at here, just to give you a sense of it. We enjoyed it, but we didn't have one of those balconies. We're going to actually have a look at our stateroom in a second here. This hallway, as I say, gets incredibly busy because people will come up that elevator at the front thinking that they can get off at Deck 9 and walk to the restaurants or International Cafe or the Piazza, and don't really realize that they have to walk down a hallway that is full of staterooms. So this gets super busy down here. Now, the stateroom we had was a Cabana mini suite. It was a reserve back in the day. This is before the change. And it was $93.61. So this is an accessible stateroom. We bid on an upgrade, got this room on Sun. Fantastic. Lots of space. Didn't ask for accessible, but there we go. Beautiful double doors out onto this private, like, expansive patio, almost. Like, I won't even call this a balcony. It's so big. It was great. The only problem is that it was so close to the Piazza itself. So right, out of the doorway, down this hallway, down a ramp, and you're in the Piazza. Piazza noise was never an issue. This hallway created a buffer, so we didn't have to worry about that. The only problem was, and we'll see kind of as I turn, is that your balcony is quite exposed to the Piazza and the sphere. Like, if you turn, and we're going to turn and look, maybe slowly. There it is. You can see the balcony. So anybody that's standing here can see whatever you're doing on your balcony if you're lying there, if you're self-conscious. For us, it didn't really matter. We didn't spend a ton of time out there anyway. It was just too hot in July in the Mediterranean when we had that balcony. Glass floor is always a neat touch. Kind of walk across, carry over from the Sky and the Enchanted and those other ships that had that glass sea walk, they called it. International Cafe hub in the morning, very, very busy. The guys up there are fantastic, quick, accurate. If something went wrong, they fixed it quickly. The food was quite good. Line up for drinks on the left and the food on the right. Can't say anything bad about them except it was busy, which is why the Coffee Currents one down on deck 7, I found that to be a bit easier to get to. I just wanted to have a coffee. Not only was it closer to my stateroom, just coming up a deck, but it generally wasn't as busy. These are the tiered seating area that I was talking about earlier. This is really nice where you can just sit, relax. You can see everything that's going on in the Piazza. That big LED screen moves and changes configurations depending on what event is on. Alfredo's Pizzeria, great Italian style pizza, done to perfection. Nothing bad to say about the place. I just the only issue that we really kind of had is that getting a table we were a group of 5 was tough. It would have been nice to have easier seating, but we would have to wait a little bit to get seating. So nice quality pizza. And again, how do you complain about the view? The ship is so open. Like, I can't say that enough when they say that it's outward looking, and it's a trend now with a lot of these ships to be outward looking. If you saw my reviews of Silver Nova or the Explorer Journeys, like those luxury ships, they've adopted that style as well. And even the Hapag-Lloyd ship that I did a tour of, the Europa 2, is the same way, and it's an older ship, so it was really kind of innovative. Future Cruise and Loyalty. Again, if you want to book a cruise on board, you can book it here. You can take a Future Cruise credit, always a good idea. Then you get your onboard credit. It's free money basically. You get a couple years to decide what you want to do. You can book through here, and if you book with a travel agent, the travel agent will be notified of it. Great way to book on board. And I made the mistake of not doing that, so silly me. This is what we're down to for photography now. A few kiosks, an advertisement for the photography studio, and a few products. They'd have a representative here to help you out, selecting your photos and fine-tuning stuff. But really, that's the only space left on the ship in terms of photography. Now with everybody, doing all their own photography and selfies and everything else, it's just, they just don't have the need for the photographers the same way. Even formal nights aren't what they used to be. We talked about that before. They don't seem to have the demand for it. So where we used to see those massive lineups, to get your formal pictures taken every formal night, now they seem to be standing there just waiting for people to come by and actually get their pictures taken. So we're checking out the International Cafe. If you're on a diet, this is not the place to come. Lots of sweets, lots of sugar. But you're on vacation, so enjoy. Fantastic spot to do that. The seating outdoors on the promenade area of Deck 9, fantastic. Just watch which side you pick. There's usually a windy side versus a sunny side, and it's which side you pick is a lot more comfortable. So just kind of check them out and see what you think before you settle on a place. The eatery is the buffet section, and we really enjoyed this. Only thing I've noticed on this ship, and this is the first time I've been on the Sphere class of ship with a larger family, is there's not many tables for more than 4. You kind of had to go hunting for them or go outside a lot of the time. This is a grab and go section, so there's always stuff here. Containers with salads, sandwiches, breakfast, lunch, desserts are there. We're so early that we've actually beat breakfast, so I have some previous footage for you to have a look at. Breakfasts were good, very, very varied. British style breakfasts, international offerings, lots of fruit, lots of yogurt, made to order waffles. We're kind of in the middle section. They always did a nice job, never a really long wait to get one. I found the quality of the food on the ship was quite good. I can't really say that overall that I really had a bad meal anywhere or I wasn't satisfied. So people will complain, food's gone downhill, but there are a few spots where I would agree, but generally speaking, it was good. Self-serve ice cream machines, there was a number of them all over the ship. So that's a bit of a departure from other ships where you had to go to the swirls ice cream. Juice machines, coffee, still bad. So, yeah, if you want a real coffee, obviously Princess Plus and the specialty coffees are the way to go. The Americana Diner. So this is a little bit hidden. So it's past the eatery, the buffet area, down this little bit of a hallway. I guess there's probably a galley in there. Again, you got your juice machines, you've got your ice cream machines. And this area is really nice for breakfast and lunch. It's a buffet with some different offerings. Americana, I suppose. They had some ribs and chicken and stuff for lunch. That was different than what was in the buffet. Burgers are served in here. There's a burger place that's out on the promenade deck area. So they bring them in here. They cook them for here, I suppose. This area was a little bit quieter, which was nice. You didn't really have as much competition for table. At breakfast time, everything that you would want in kind of a standard North American style breakfast was here. If you wanted something a little bit more international, you wouldn't get as much offerings here. But for breakfast, if you just wanted, pastry and bacon and eggs, it was here. And it was open earlier than the actual buffet, obviously, because this is open and the other one wasn't. Sorry about the bright sunshine. It's that time in the morning. So we'll head outside. There's lots of different ways to get out to this Piazza area, or the promenade area. Not super windy. They've done a really good job with the way the glass is laid out. They've thought about it. The high glass on the outside kind of protects. It can be quite warm if you're in the direct sunlight, especially at lunchtime. So like I say, if you want something in the shade, make sure you're picking the right side of the ship. Promenade Slice. They were serving a deep dish Chicago-style pizza here. At least a couple of times that we popped by there. I don't know if it changes up. It was quite good. The kids gave it a rave review. Ice cream spot and then a bar. You'll find that on both sides of the ship. So there's a bar on either side of the ship that will serve that up. There's a lot more seating outside than any other Princess ship we've been on. And again, as long as the weather's nice, the overhang's there. It's a really nice way to sit out and just relax, and the service is quite good outside. In fact, I generally found that, for waiter service, it was better outside than inside. The other big change that we found is that no longer are they doing the delivering to the seat when you order from the app. It's super limited, which we can talk about a little bit more. I'm not happy with that change. We've arrived at the Wakeview. This is by far my favorite area of the ship, and we'll go down and have a good checkout of the Wakeview. So we're down here now at the View Terrace, and like I said, this was one of my favorite spots on the ship. We spent a lot of time out here in the evening time, especially after about 5 o'clock. It really calmed down. People were going to dinner. Our dinner wasn't until 7:30, so the kids and I were just able to enjoy this. So again, in our daily vlog, you could have a look at that. To get down here, you have to come off deck 9 down the stairs, or there are some glass elevators that we'll see a little bit better later on either side of that superstructure at the very back of the ship. So most decks, you can get to walk right to the aft of the ship, get on one of those elevators, and get down to the Wakeview. Obviously, the most important and the key feature of the Wakeview terrace area is this infinity pool. It's kind of a really cool shot to come through here. There's nobody in it, which was kind of neat. So you kind of get a really nice sense of feeling of the back of the ship. And if you've seen our videos before, you know that we feature the Wakeview in almost every video, in the promos and things like that. I really just like sitting back here and just seeing, where we've been in that long wake. Wakeview Bar, probably the tallest bar stools I've ever sat at in my life. Felt like a giant, but it was nice to sit back there and enjoy it while the kids were enjoying the hot tub and the pool and things like that. Fair amount of seating in this area. It's obviously during the day in the sunshine, it's going to be busy and people are going to be out here taking it. But as I said, we found that the evening time was our favorite time in this area of the ship. So we'll head upstairs, back up to deck 9. We'll check out the other side. We'll be on the port side of the ship now. One thing I was saying earlier was that they have started to limit the amount of deliveries that they do on board the ship. And I think it's across all ships, where before you could use the app to order drink or food or wherever to almost anywhere on the ship and they would come find you. Now it's only in the pool areas, in the Piazza, and your stateroom. So if you're outside that zone by even a few feet, they will not deliver to you. The app just won't allow it. So, this level of service was good on here, where, they would be always up and down asking you if you'd like something, and it was easy enough during breakfast time to order a coffee, like a specialty coffee, and they would bring it to you without a problem. So on this side of the ship, we've got the Promenade Grill, and the Promenade Grill really is burgers, hot dogs, things like that. And again, there's a bar on this side of the ship to service guests over here. Beautiful place to sit. You can tell we're on probably like the less sunny side of the ship on this side, so not as many people hanging around. So back to the back of the ship, and what we're going to do is check out the elevators that go up to the higher decks. So they're a little bit hidden, and I'm not sure a lot of people know about these. So Americana Diner, you can get out to this. So you can come down the elevators to the Americana Diner if you want, or you can continue down to deck 8, get off at the Wakeview Pool. What we're going to do is we're going to take the elevator up to deck 15 and check out the signature lounge up there. So you get a bit of a little elevator ride here. Luckily, we didn't have to wait too long. And it's a really nice little view at the back of the ship. So that infinity pool again, you have the 2 hot tubs on either side, the showers. Nice space to spend some time. And definitely somewhere that we spent more than our fair share out there. So we'll hop off the elevator here at deck 15. And this is the Signature Suite Lounge. So again, this is for suite guests only. So Not only is it signature level, but it's the suites, not the mini suites, not the deluxe balconies. So that is a differentiating thing between suites and the other ones. Now, we're going to go up a little bit higher, up to deck 17. Deck 16, the only thing that's really on it is the upper level of the signature lounge, signature suite lounge, I should say. So we don't really need to have a look at that. Oh, there's a view of me. And we're going to have a look at Love by Brito. Now, this is an interesting collaboration. This is an artist, I believe. Does a lot of like things with love and hearts and things like that. So they've created this nice space at the back of the ship. Again, if you can get up here in the summertime, when it's bright out, winter, it's by the time you have dinner, it's going to be dark. But just beautiful view off the back of the ship. Looking at that wake view again. I don't know how busy it gets up here. It's not been a spot that I've actually tried. I don't mind some of the food. Some of the other people in my traveling party don't generally like the fancier foods, especially the French cuisine, the same way. But the whole thing has this theme of love and hearts and everything else. So just a really, really nice space up here on deck 17. Now, I'll show you the menu, but I'm not really sure you're going to be able to see a whole lot. As I say, the menu does change from time to time. There's a wide range of cocktails, beverages, obviously Princess Plus, bottles of wine and such like that. Remember, if you have Princess Plus, you get 25% off if you're buying bottles of wine. I think that was the last discount that they were offering. Just really nice space for you to check out. If you've been to Love by Brito, let me know in the comments. What do you think of it? Was it worth it? It is, I think, pretty pricey, around $99 last time I looked, but don't quote me on that, of course. Laundry facilities on board, so we'll check that out real quick. $3 for a load, $1.50 for the detergent. I'm happy that Princess has kept this on board, because really, it's, you travel with a large family like I do. It just makes it so much easier to do a load of laundry on a sea day rather than taking extra laundry or extra clothes and having to pay the baggage. So Princess, keep that up. Don't get rid of that. Mixed cocktail bars. So now we're out on the Lido deck. The bars, there's plenty of them around in the area. This is one of those areas that you can order drinks to your seats using the app. Although there's so many bartenders and stuff around, I usually found that was an easier way to do it. Never really an issue. A couple of nice large hot tubs up high. Seating generally, it wasn't full. Even though the cruise wasn't quite full, I mean, it wasn't capacity crowd. You could always find a seat. It wasn't generally an issue for us. There's so many areas around the ship, from at the front of the ship, in this area here, now with the sanctuary. It's plenty of space to be able to find seating. Coffee and cones. Kids love this area. Self-serve ice cream. They, of course, did the Princess desserts. Coffee, the premium dessert that you get with the old Princess Plus. That'll be changing, obviously, in January. They're taking that out of the Plus package. But that's the spot to get it on board. So there's no gelato bar other than what they were serving there. These are these nice big hot tubs. I don't think you can put enough hot tubs on a ship these days. They're kind of a popular place. A few ships that I've been on now have been utilizing these really kind of like long extended hot tubs along the sides of the ships, where they're even cantilevered out over the side. That's kind of a neat concept rather than the traditional circular ones. But yeah, they were in constant use. Again, apologies for the bright sun. It was that time of the morning, just kind of peeking up over the superstructure of the ship. As we trundle along here, we'll get a good look at the pool area. The pool I found on this ship to be, a little bit larger than what was on Sky and Enchanted and the other previous generations of the ship. You have your movies under the stars. They played a number of different movies. The original Top Gun. They had the F1 movie up there for a while. Football games on Monday night. They make good use of it. And of course, during the welcome party and the sail away party, they had things up there as well. This is the Lido Grill. So hot dogs, hamburgers, vegetarian burgers. The only thing that was missing when I went up here, we only came up here the one time, was the nice chicken fingers that they have on board some of the other ships, at like the Salty Dog grill on Sky, for instance, or Enchanted. Lido Tacos. There's also a salad bar around the other side. I should also mention that I didn't get a picture of it, but on the other side of the grill, there's a salad place as well. This is Lido Tacos, so Mexican. Lots of different options there, fajitas and stuff like that. And then, of course, the Lido Slice, which is our pizza, which I blew right by, because that's the third pizza venue that we've seen in this little tour. So there's seating all along here, which is really, it's covered space, which is fine if the weather's inclement. But, when this ship gets to Alaska, I'm sure they'll have blankets out on all these seats, and you'll be able to sit there and watch the glaciers go by. This is the dome, or at least the start of the dome, and we'll have a really good look at that shortly as we walk around towards the front of the ship. There's a little bit of wind noise in the video. It is a windy spot on the ship. And I don't know why, but I really, really like coming out here. And I took this walking tour early in the morning. And I'm like, why don't I spend more time up here? Because as much as I like looking at the back of the ship, this is a much bigger space. And it's just not one that I kind of think about going to for some reason. Even though it's, directly above my stateroom almost. A couple of hot tubs, a small pool that actually goes indoors into the dome. Sun Princess, when we were on her, they had tried to designate this as an adults-only area. There was no signage or communication on board Star Princess that this was an adult-only area. So maybe they've dropped that since they have the adult-only area being the Sanctuary Club at the back, which we haven't seen yet. But the pool, nice space. The Seaview Bar, this is just an outstanding little spot to sit and relax. Stools on the other side of the bar area that you can kind of look out over the front of the ship. They've done a really good job with the glass. Like, there is a breeze here. You can tell you're at the front of the ship. You're outdoors, but it's not overly blowy. Like, you're not going to get cold because of the wind that's in this area. They've done a really good job, especially as you get down these stairs. It really kind of calms down. It's just kind of that mid-tier level that's a little bit windier than the rest. And this is one of the improvements, I think, over the the Enchanted and the Sky and Discovery and those newer ships, those last three ships before the Sphere class, is you had to pay to get this view of the bow of the ship, because that's where their Sanctuary section was, which is a pay per day entry, not like the Sun and the Star where you have to be in the Sanctuary collection suites, the suites and mini suites and such. There you're paying per day on the Sky and the Discovery and a few of those other ones to get the view kind of at the front of the ship. So I like the fact that this is open to everybody. There's lots of lounge chairs. There seemed to be lots of space. We were up here After I took this video, we came up, hung out at the bar. There was lots of seating available, even though it was our final sea day. Mid-afternoon, people could have, been using all these beds, but no, there was plenty of space. So they've done a really good job on board these ships of creating space and different spaces so that you don't have to, it's not just the pool area that you're going to be drawn to if you want to go relax in the sun. You've got all these alternate deck spaces. This space here, all along the side of deck 17 and 18. You've got you can see down below there, you've got that Cabana deck that we looked at earlier. So if you're in a Cabana suite, you've got that accessible to you. And then if you're in the Sanctuary collection, then you've got a whole section at the back that we haven't even seen yet. So there's plenty of space. There's no need to go out there and start reserving sun loungers and everything else, leaving your stuff all over the place. I think they've started to combat that a little bit, and people are starting to get the message that, hey, you can't do that, and really you don't need to do that. So, when you're ready to go sunbathe for a while, go out and knock yourself out. Fully accessible. There's a ramp on this side, and I think the other ramp is on the other side to go up to the next level. You can see that it's not fully glassed in. It's angled glass, and then you've got this open space here, and then a continuation of that protective glass that really does cut down on the amount of wind that blows through here. So as we pass by the Sea View Bar again, happy I sat on those stools later in the day, enjoyed a nice margarita, the 24K margarita with the Pantalones tequila. Matthew McConaughey and his wife own that brand. They're the godparents of this ship. Really top notch, so enjoyed that quite a bit. And then we have the other spa on this side of the ship. So let's check out the Dome. Dome is a really versatile space. So during the day, nice quiet space. You can, I won't say sunbathe, but you can lie on the beds and relax. It is air conditioned, so the temperature difference walking in here was significant. You can hop in the pool on this side. You can swim underneath the divider if you want to go outside. I guess they can raise and lower that to keep the wind out. At nighttime, the Dome obviously is used for entertainment. This was a kind of comedy acrobat duo. It was really entertaining. I don't recall seeing if there were any production shows yet in the Dome from the ship's company. That may come, or maybe I missed it. We're not really sure. But the Dome, fantastic space, tiered seating, doesn't hold a lot of people. So if you are going to go see a show there at night, get there early as possible. As soon as the early show lets out, you want to be there, get your seats, go in. If you're going to the early show, you definitely want to be there, at least a half an hour early, maybe even longer, depending on what's playing in there. So this is the Cascade Bar. Not really in use, except for when the Dome is in use. It wouldn't be the place that you would go necessarily hanging out, but it's serves the Dome, and it's named Cascade, I would assume, after that water feature, which we can actually see a little bit more. But it's a cascading water feature that comes up from the roof and travels through both decks. It's kind of interesting. So what we'll do now is we'll go upstairs and have a look at the upstairs tier seating. I actually like entering the Dome from that angle there, and there seems to be a lot more seating from the upper level on deck 18. So let's pop up there and have a look at that. So from the upper level, there's a few different seating options up here. There's some high tables, chairs, or you can head down into the tiered section, which generally are like the sun lounger beds. Not the most efficient use of space as an entertainment venue at night because of the beds, but there are some chairs around if you want. This is that cascading water feature that we're talking about. It starts at the top of the dome, goes all the way down to where that bar section was. Constantly cleaning. I was really impressed with the cleanliness of the ship. You know, I saw a guy out there polishing one of the fireboxes one day, as stainless steel, just making sure that everything stays tip top. You know, these guys had something had been spilled on the deck there, they were saying, and they were fixing a little piece of the rubber that had come apart. I generally speaking, and people have asked me, you know, the Grand Princess is, you know, getting towards 25 years old now. You know, are the Princess ships still in good shape? You know, should I worry about being on an older ship and not being on the latest and greatest? And I tell people all the time, Princess has a really high standard of maintenance for their ships. Yes, some ships are going to look a little bit more worn out, or they're going to have some, you know, some wear and tear here and there, but they're very good about staying on top of the maintenance. And I have no issue going on an older ship. All the technology is there. This is the Star Bar, obviously servicing the Deck 18 area of the pool area. Again, big lineups here during the day. Order from a waiter rather than trying to wait at the bar. It's just much easier. And of course, our overlook at the pool area. So to continue that thought, like, as far as I'm concerned, old ship, new ship, the technology is the same. The medallion technology is the same. Delivery of items. Yes, things have improved, or sometimes not improved, depending on the age of the ship. I personally like this class of the ship. If I were going to grade the ships, I'd like this class of ship probably the best. I think the openness of it, the amount of light and everything else that they've created by the glass, and especially in the Piazza area, is really nice. Then I would go to either the Grand class or the Coral class. The Coral class being the smaller ships. Love them. Spent almost a month on board Island Princess in 2023, and kind of small, intimate, well looked after. Even though those ships are, you know, built in 2001, 2002, somewhere in that region, really well maintained. Grand class after that, and then the other the Royal class. So you'll find towel spots out all over the place. They don't have one big central area. There's no signing out towels like on Royal or Carnival. They trust you. You go up, as I was saying earlier, you come up, you get your towels from the pool deck. You can take them on shore, return them. No big deal. Walking along a little bit further here on deck 18, we'll check out the fitness area. We'll check out that. This is probably the busiest part of the ship, other than the buffet at this time of the morning. All the fitness people. I don't like to be too invasive, so we'll just have a quick peek through the window. They are really well equipped. I mean, they've done a really good job making sure that everybody has the equipment they need. They always do. This is the wellness studio. This would be where you'd have your fitness classes, yoga, different instructor-like classes. Those would be included, some of them in your Princess Plus up until January. Then that changes. They're dropping the fitness classes from Princess Plus, even though they're raising the price. Good or bad, I'm not sure how much that part of it was getting used. This is the Lotus Salon. So the Lotus Spa being downstairs, I guess there just wasn't room for the salon to be down there as well, so they have it up here on deck 18. Lots of space, nails, barber, hair salon, whatever you need. They were quite accommodating up here. And again, lots of nice bright light, which is really nice. So there weren't a lot of changes. Like we've talked a little bit through the video that the differences between Star and Sun. There haven't been a lot of changes because I really do feel like they got Sun Princess right. They made the change with O'Malley's, made that a little bit bigger, moved the ice cream place upstairs. But generally speaking, they really did get Sun right, especially after they changed the restaurants and introduced the Sanctuary Collection. I'm not sure I'm a big fan. I've not really done the ship within a ship concept myself, so that'd be like Sanctuary Collection on here, or the Yacht Club on MSC or things like that, where you have the suites and the private areas. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that, to be honest with you. I have stayed in a suite a few times, which is nice, and it's nice to have the extra restaurant, but there's an awfully big area that we're going to have a look at now that the Sanctuary takes up. There are a few smoking areas on board as well, so this area back here is one of those, other than the casino, obviously, which you can apparently go to town on. Smoking is fairly restricted on board cruise ships these days. If you know your cruise history, the original Star Princess, or the previous Star Princess, had a bad fire way back in, I believe, I'm going to say 2006, if I recall, 2007, where a cigarette caused a significant fire on board that ship. So this is the Sanctuary Club. We're on the running track right now. So Sanctuary is 215 staterooms on board, 80 suites, 123 mini suites, and then the balconies. So this is the Sanctuary Club at the back. So this is exclusive to 16 years and older, and you're staying in the Sanctuary Collection rooms. So they'll have food options, beverage options, the hot tubs, private pool, different spa services that you can get, and then this kind of enclosed area. They'll also have events for the day that you board, and also embarkation or disembarkation suite as well in a certain area. This is the running track around the outside. A little bit of shuffleboard on this inside circuit, which is really nice. And they had the beanbag cornhole games here, so a number of different activities as we head towards the sports court area. Now, on Sun, obviously, this was designated as the Park 19 concept, which never really became anything. I'm not really sure if they've taken that out yet. I haven't heard any news recently. But the sports court, they've done a really nice job with. It's covered. The wind isn't too bad up here. It was sunny, but not blazing hot, even though we were in the Southern Caribbean. Pickleball, basketball, lots of room for ping pong, things like that. What I really like, too, is they actually set up an archery range here with these inflatable archery with a I guess it was like a puck on the end of the arrow, which was a lot of fun. So lots of activities and games for the kids. There's a Connect 4 game there. Just really well done. So we're getting towards the end of the tour. If you have questions about the Star Princess, and something we haven't covered, throw it in the comments. I'd be happy to dig up some footage, maybe do a little review. Certainly we're going to have more detailed reviews of Star Princess, so check those videos out. We're also going to have a proper stateroom tour of that Cove balcony that we were in. All kinds of things we can do based on this. So leave us some ideas in the comments. This is really kind of the big video that shows every aspect of it. This is the sports court. I'm going to call it lounge. It's not even named on the map. You wouldn't even know it's here. Just a really nice little spot to look out over the sports court or to read. The only thing I'll tell you is I was sitting here after I finished filming, and something pressurized up in the smokestack there released and scared the heck out of me. So, kind of be prepared. There's some industrial stuff that's happening around you. It might scare you. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Star Princess. As I say, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, really helps, and check her out. They've really kind of perfected this ship. I really like this class of ship with Princess. Thanks for watching. I know it's a really long video, and I appreciate you sitting through it right to the end. Again, Tidal Horizons specialize in Princess. If you need help planning your next cruise vacation, contact information is in the title of the video, in the description of the video. Enjoy. Thanks.